Toxic masculinity is a thing, but how common is it? And is it really as prevalent as we think it is? But before we answer that, we have to differentiate normal masculinity from toxic masculinity. Because toxic masculinity is obviously bad, but normal masculinity is good. Being masculine is like being driven, goal-oriented. There's obviously extremes where it actually is toxic. So let's talk more about that. The first thing I'm going to talk about is crying in front of others. I've seen a lot of people talk about how crying in front of your girlfriend is not good because it will make you seem as weak, and there's been a lot of stories I've seen of people that have cried in front of their partner and then they started being more cold to them and their partner left them. But bottling up your emotion is also bad and is toxic, not for other people but is toxic for you, because when you bottle up emotion it festers inside. But should you cry in front of your girlfriend or your partner? I mean, if more people did it, maybe there might be a difference. Maybe it'll be more accepting, more normal. Or maybe you'll just turn off your partner and lose them. But maybe by doing so, maybe by crying in front of your partner, you may actually find that they're the right one for you, because you might find the one that will stick with you even if they've seen this side of you. But there's also a good chance that they will get turned off and will leave you. So honestly, it depends from person to person if you're willing to make that risk. And most people won't, which is understandable because they don't want to lose their partner, even if they will not be able to show this side of them to their partner. Now, in toxic masculinity, I wanted to talk about these memes. They're shaming feminine men, basically, or trans, or men that are wanting to cross-dress for whatever reason. I find this toxic. I mean, let me get this straight. Being masculine and being strong and not acting like this, yes, it will be attractive to a lot of women. But are they doing it for women? Are they dressing up as women for women? No, they're not. They're doing it for their own entertainment. They're doing it for themselves. Isn't that admirable in and of itself? Showing that you don't give a shit about other people's opinions? If anything, that's admirable. Why do we bully these guys? Okay, I know what a lot of you will say. There's a lot of weak men now, and that we need to go through hard times, like going to the gym for years to be mentally strong. And a lot of there's weak men are just playing video games and stuff, and they have no attention span because of their TikTok brain. And to that I say, it's not like cross-dressing is inherently linked to your attention span and mental fortitude. And just because they cross-dress doesn't mean that they can't do activities that require a lot of discipline. Because I do agree, there are a lot of weak men nowadays, but what we perceive as weak is different from what we perceive as feminine and masculine. The next thing I'm talking about here is dominant behavior. So a lot of people would probably consider this as toxic behavior, being dominant. Now, what exactly does that even mean? I feel like this word has way too many different meanings and is way too vague. For example, oh yo, I want me a dominant daddy. Or maybe it can be used like, hey, that guy's way too domineering, he's way too dominant, he's so controlling. Those two things are really different. I'm gonna separate those two into two different categories: leading and controlling. Leading, for example, you guys are not sure where to eat, so the guy is like, okay, we're gonna go eat here, so let's go there. And then the girl's like, okay, so then he's leading the situation. But this can also be misconstrued as being dominant in an aggressive way, and that is just seen to me as being controlling. Like, that is toxic. But leading, if no one knows how to make a choice and you are the one to lead, you are the one to initiate, that can be seen as just showing leadership, which is sort of a masculine trait. I'm using masculine in a term of, I don't know, it's not necessarily a gendered thing. Of course, women can be leaders too, but I mean masculine as a sense of sort of personality or whatever. I'm pretty sure you know what I mean. Being a leader, that is obviously a good thing. Being controlling, obviously a bad thing. So that's why I feel like being dominant can be misconstrued to be either one, either controlling or being a leader. And that's why it's such a fucking nuanced thing, and that's why it's sometimes seen as being toxic. And we can't forget using the word dominance for the term that it's mostly used for, in the bed. Now for this, some people like it more aggressive, some people like less aggressive, but you have to find that out from the person. You have to ask them what they like, what they don't like, and you need to make sure that there's a way, an implicit way to ask for consent. I mean, obviously being like, yo, can I do this to you while you're in the moment is kind of weird. So it's like, this needs to be talked beforehand. There has to be a safe word where she's like, oh wait, no, too far. There has to be a specific word for that. Because you know, sometimes people like it more aggressive, but then there's a point where it's like, okay, I feel like this is taking too far, you know, and it's like, makes me feel uncomfortable. And then that's when the safe word comes in. And this is the end of the video now. I don't know how to end it. Goodbye.